Mr. Mylar Melodies.
Hi.
Out in the real world.
Yeah, I know.
Performing and everything.
Well, I'm not performed yet. It might be a disaster. It's happened
You
before.
never know. I'm going to step up onto the stage
Okay,
because
yes,
I feel
please.
a little bit
Come and play.
challenged. So I'm sure everybody would be very keen to know what you're using today.
Well, am I using? So this is like the kind of latest iteration of a live system that is an evolving beast. Obviously, it's never done, is it? But it is the whole philosophy of this is I want to be able to do sort of live techno music, basically, with no loops.
All night long.
All night long, with no loops pre-prepared, with nothing, preset. I mean, you can sort of, you've got a Z8000, you could sort of predetermine some sequences, and I've got a quantizer, and I could kind of, maybe I'll use that scale tonight, that kind of thing, and you tune your oscillators. I'm kind of bad at tuning oscillators, so I sort of just do it by ear. But the idea is, the philosophy is to play without anything pre-prepared. I want to just be able to just build a system and then
improvise.
You improvise. So it's totally improvised, which is...
You're not sweating much.
Well, I will be. It's quite hot under these lights. But that is the problem. It's like, I was chatting to Jonathan about this earlier, and it was like, it is a little bit of a reaction against sort of laptop-based music. Not that there's anything wrong with laptop-based music. I saw Ortega playing in Brighton, and it was like one of the best things I've ever seen, and they were playing with a laptop. But the idea of this was to build a system that doesn't give me anything for free, that allows you scope to make all kinds of different music. It is sort of designed to be like a live jamming techno thing.
I mean, but you're triggering, I guess, have you got like a tip-top kit and circadian
so
rhythms?
So in terms of how it's actually working, I have the ability to use the circadian rhythms from tip-top to put in certain elements, and that will... So I can put in a little certain rhythms. So there we go. And you can program different patterns. Happy days. But the sort of philosophy that I'm using here is that I want the flexibility to both program things and use other sources as well. So come up here, and if you see all these little doofers,
these are routing switches.
These are switch multiples. So it's the same thing, it's just a multiple, where if I switch, so let me just do this again. So you see this is the hi-hat pattern here.
Yeah.
And then if you go up here, that's actually the input to that. That's circadian rhythm track 2. Yeah. And it's going to my 808 hats. And if I do this, it should, oh no, like this, mate, go to my 909 hat. So I'm able to use that source.
So it's like, oh, that's interesting.
Send it from 909 or 808. And in that way, you can pick multiple sources and send them to multiple destinations. Because the big issue is that if you're going to be patching like live, actually pulling things in and out, it's a dance gig. You can't do that. You can't fart around.
Just a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Keep dancing while it's not danceable, while I just set it up. And so the idea is that you're using this to do fast switching. I mean, the other thing you can do, which is technically naughty from a technical standpoint, is combine. So, for example, I can send a rhythm here, and then if you come over to the Trigger Riot, I can blend this row of the Trigger Riot with this row of the circadian rhythms. And I mean, they say that you shouldn't use multiples as mixers, but Stevio, my modular god, he does it. So it
must be all right.
It's okay then, isn't it? Nothing's blown up yet.
Excellent. So you got effects going on somewhere?
Yeah, I've got Herb Verb, and so I've got two voices, a Chemi's Castle, and then I've got this kind of voice made up of the Dixie 2, the excellent... Jesus Christ. Oh my God, that's just totally fallen. Holy crap. Wow. Oops.
Somebody call a doctor.
Yeah, that's not well as well. This was on...
It wasn't you?
No, it wasn't me. So we've got video evidence.
Wasn't me either.
Awkward.
Okay, well, we'll break the news when perhaps we finish with the interview.
Okay, cool. So moving swiftly onwards, we have two voices. So a Chemi's Castle feeding into the Jove. So if I actually try and get this working, just trying to think how this works. We should.
We think that just flipped off. It just
come off here. This is like
we didn't touch it.
It's got spare cables if you need them.
Yeah, oh no, I've got plenty, thanks. It's all right.
Heck.
See how it goes.
Okay, so Akemi's
Jove.
Castle.
So Jove is a filter.
Jove is an excellent filter, which is made by a company called System 80, and so the Jove is like a Roland inspired.
But it's just nice and simple, isn't it?
Oh yes. You also, what you won't get from the video is that's just a really nice pot that's very sweepable. It's got different modes as well, and then that's the Akemi's Castle, which is like a sort of gnarly FM module. And you've got
Quite a big one,
chords.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but it's kind of worth it. And then I've also got a separate CV input where I've got some voltages from Pamela's workout, which is like a slow LFO.
Do you think there's like a special factory where they name modules? Or do you only buy ones with kind of...
I only buy ones with weird
great
hipster names. Yeah, that's my prerequisite to any of this stuff. Isn't that why we're getting into this, by the way? Yeah. And then what else have I got? Yeah, so also this voice with the Dixie and the braids, and I'm using the Z2040, and that I've got coming off of here, and maybe it's down on the mixer. Oh. So that's more of a trad voice, and I can blend in the Dixie and shift it up and down the octaves.
Oh, that's sounding beefy.
It does sound lovely, doesn't it? And then you've got the dot mix, which is like a mixer based on the like Moog CP3 mixer off the modulars, which adds it a little bit of crunch. Lovely. That is a great film. Like everyone forgets about the Z2040, but it really kills, and it doesn't really lose bass at high resonance settings. So I've cranked it massively. And what was that? That was up here. So I'm using grids both as a drum sequencer. But with my switching, I can also send it to control other things as well. So this is like, I don't know if you know grids, but it's like almost, this is my one concession to cheating. This is like a library of rhythms where you can sort of just turn this and then you've got like a rhythm map. So it's like having lots of rhythms on tap. And then you can literally, like a tap, you can just have more or less.
Right,
and you can just have it down there, and it'll every now and then it'll fire off a voice. So
it's a bit of Turing machine vibe. Is that
well, yeah, I suppose. And you see, I've got two Turing machines in here. I'm not really using the pulses on them so much, but I use them for voltage because they're just wonderful. Like the looping aspect of the voltage thing that's just awesome.
Is it all right? Hooray! It's all right.
I literally did not touch that, just to be clear. And then what else? So then I'm mixing it with the hex inverter hot glue, which is great. You've got a send, so I'm sending that to the herb verb, which is handy, the herb verb is just like the best thing ever. Like if you see, that's me sending the perk to the herb. I mean, it's like a reverb that isn't
That's about 20 minutes taken care of.
Yeah. It's not really an ambient gig though, that's the problem.
It's out of control.
It's like, this always reminds me of like Louis and Baby Baron, like, you know, the whole Forbidden Planet soundtrack.
Yeah,
it's very
spring reverb and a robot.
It's like spooky. Isn't there some guy, I saw something online, there was someone who had done a soundtrack to an animated film using the herb verb as the only source to the film. I was like,
nice. You're
my hero, basically. And then a few of the bits and bobs, I've got the clouds.
Of course.
Which I've got so that I can kind of chop it. I need to have the perk. And then my source for clouds is radio music here. I don't want to spoil the surprise enormously.
No.
But what that is, I've got a modular synth demo loaded into the radio music. But you'll have to like spot where that's from. So I'm actually live chopping up a modular synth demo I stole off YouTube.
It's very meta,
isn't it? One of my faves. And then lastly, this thing, which is easily overlooked.
Yes, the one.
The one.
Yes, that's the great sampler, isn't it?
So it is. And how do I get it to work? I would go here. And that thing is just like, do you see I'm programming it here? But I can also program it, if I flip my little mult, I can program it from down here as well. So I have this in matrix mode for any of you asking, but basically you can...
Fast sample switching.
Sounds like Daft Punk.
Yeah, let's go.
And then look, you can go...
You've got distortion in there somewhere. That's the one thing that's missing.
I do, I have distortion in the hot glue, so I'm distorting the bass drum. And then you can
Oh, Lord.
do that.
Good Lord. Okay, well, I don't want to hold up too much longer because we know we've got another sound check under the go.
Yeah, we do.
Mr. Mylar Melodies, thank you very much for joining us and have a great gig. And I guess if you've seen the gig already, then enjoy the rig rundown
Hope
that
it
we
went
just
well.
shot.
Hope it went well. Thanks, mate.